Today we're making a quick and easy fresh Pico de Gallo.
Right. To do this, you're going to need some cilantro. This is not optional unless it tastes like soap to you. Then use parsley. But if you actually like cilantro or it doesn't taste like soap, use cilantro because it's necessary. A smallish onion. Okay, I'm just making a little bit here today, so enough to put on some tacos that we made the other day.
We like to use red onion because we find their tendency
sweeter.
is not so sulfuric, but
Yeah,
it depends on each onion.
and I'm using garlic. Now, normally I would just use like 5 or 6 cloves, but these are gargantuan mutant garlic, so I'm just using 2. If you don't like it too garlicky, you can use less, but less isn't more when it comes to garlic. You got to use garlic. If you need less garlic, I don't think we can be friends anymore. Use garlic. And to go along with our mutant garlic, we have a mutant jalapeno, which is huge. Now, these came from Publix, okay? We did not grow these. However, I like their jalapenos. I like a lot of their produce. And I have a large one. If you want to, you can use 2 small ones, or you can put in even more. And
if you like it more on the spicy side, you can certainly bump it up to a more spicy
you can substitute to habaneros. You can put in whatever you want. You can even leave them out if you really don't want to be spicy at all. I will tell you that this much doesn't really make it all that spicy. It's kind of like a mild. Okay. And I'm going to use 3 tomatoes. They're pretty ripe. Picked them up this morning. And you can use more or less tomatoes. This is just about the right amount for what I'm making here. So, time to get chopping. So first, I'm going to chop up the garlic. Now, it's really, really simple, but you do want to make this a pretty fine mince. So, see this little woody thing here? I want to take that off. I'm just going to remove it, set it to the side. I'm going to do it on both. So I just make a cut across the top, and then I make a few across the sides, and then I chop it up. I want it to be pretty fine. And just watch your fingers. I can't do the bend your fingers inward thing. I don't know. My fingers are just deformed or something. I don't know. And I just chop it up. And now I just want to kind of run the knife through that garlic a little bit to mince it up a bit more. Nobody really wants huge chunks of, well, I mean, somebody probably does, but I don't like huge chunks of just garlic in my Pico de Gallo. And then that's it for the garlic. Next, I'll work on the onion. Real simple. Cut off the root, cut off the top, cut it in half. Then the peeling. Just peel off all the stuff you don't want. You know, like the outer skin in the first layer maybe, something like that. Just putting all this to the side so it's out of the way.
When we're cooking, normally we have our compost bin available, so you can just put it right in the compost, but we're filming today, so...
So it's all kinds of awkward and weird, and not the way I'm used to cooking. This one had a little bit of a bad spot on that one little part, so I didn't want to use it. And now I'll just get all this junk out of my way. Alright, we are ready. Now, what you want to do is find the core right there, right? That's like the top of it, I think. Or is that the bottom? I don't know. That core there versus this here. You want that to be away from you. And then just make little radial slices over the whole onion. Hopefully my fingers aren't completely in the way and you can actually see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to make very fine cuts. See how small that is? I want this to be diced up nice and small. Now once I get to the end here like this, what I generally do is just cut it into like lengthwise pieces and then just chop across. Like that. There we go. That's onion done. Well, half of it. Let me do the other one too. At this point, my cutting board's starting to get full. And you might have noticed, we just grabbed a lime from outside. That's as fresh as it gets, folks. This is right off the tree.
Now some of you would be like, wait a minute, that looks like an orange. Well, that's because our limes are Rampur limes, which is actually a cross between a mandarin orange and citron.
However, tastes like a lime. They are not another kind of lime that we thought they were at one time that some people found the name offensive. And I apologize. That's not really what we were intending for, but that is the name of them. But they're Rangpur limes. So problem solved. Which explains why the leaves tasted so horrible in all of our brews. But that's another channel. Okay, next. Jalapeno. Now, I have a trick for cutting jalapenos. And that way I don't get the spicy stuff on my hands. Now, what I do is I hold the natural handle, also known as the stem, and I cut all the way down. I'm going to make a couple of slices because this is a really big jalapeno. And I'm just going to get in there. Helps to have a sharp knife. I got to sharpen my knife. We actually have a video on that. I should follow my own video. Just going to chop all the way through. Now, if you notice, it's all sliced up. All I have to do is get in here and go from the end. Go slow, it's okay. But just be careful and chop it up. And yes, I'm leaving in the seeds and the pith and everything. Why? Because I actually want that little bit of heat that the jalapeno is going to give. It's important. It's part of the flavoring. Just go all the way right up to the base like that. And see, I can just push it all right off my knife. Just like that. Now these ones that are bigger, I'm just going to run the knife through a little bit. Because you don't really want huge chunks in here. You want it to be kind of diced up. And again, wipe it off with the stem. All you guys out there know why I'm doing this. Now I'm just going to take my scraper again, and I'm just going to put this right into my bowl. Next up, tomatoes. Tomatoes are an integral part of a Pico de Gallo or a salsa. And I don't like that, and I don't really like to eat the bottom. So I just kind of chop the top and bottom off. Oh, that one's got a real green stem in the middle there.
Now, if you wanted to make a green Pico de Gallo rather than a red, you could switch out the tomatoes for tomatillos.
Yes.
But we both prefer the tomato flavor over the tomatillo flavor.
I'm just kind of cutting that core out. This one was a little bit too green for me. And real simple. You dice the tomato. I mean, you know, come on, guys. You've cut food before.
Non più tra I farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di torno girando.
Of course, at this point, you're probably wondering, why don't you just use a food processor? You can. You can totally just use a food processor and chop all this up. I actually kind of enjoy slicing and chopping food. I can control the texture a little bit better, so that's why I do it this way. But I have actually just thrown it right in the food processor too, and it works pretty well. It doesn't have that authentic hand-cut flavor. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. 1 down, 2 to go. Not going to bore you with watching all this.
Non più tra I farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di torno girando, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto Adolcino d'amor. Delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto Adolcino d'amor. Non più avrai questi bei panacchini, quel cappello leggero galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante.
All right, so now I have all of that put in there. The next is going to be the cilantro. Now, it's on stems, and it's annoying to have to peel them all. So what I usually do is I just take the top off and the 2 leaves and go like that. If you want to, you can leave the stems. I don't particularly like eating the stems, so I'm a little more particular. But it's going to take a while.
I'm going to help.
Okay, so we peeled the cilantro. We only used like maybe a third of what was here. We have, I don't know, if you pack that down, maybe it's like half a cup. And I'm just going to rough chop it. I don't want it to be big leaves, and you know, we do still have tiny stems in there. So I'm just going to run the knife through, get it into, you know, wee little bits. Okay, it's wee little bits. And we just scrape it up in the bowl. Every little bit counts. We measured exactly. And almost last but not least is the lime. Now you can use lemon juice if you prefer. Lime juice is more traditional, but it's okay. What I like to do is I'll roll it out like this, and inevitably I smell like lime for the rest of the day because all those essential oils come out. So let me wipe off my hand. And then I'm going to cut it in half because I don't think I need the whole thing for this. I think just half this lime is going to be good. And then got our little teeny tiny strainer here. Isn't it so cute? I love that. And I'm just going to hold it right over it. This way I get no seeds. Just squeeze that lime right in. The reason you roll it out first is it releases a lot more juice that way. I mean, you saw how much came out of here. Get it all in there. Again, precisely measured. That's sarcasm, in case anybody takes me seriously. All right. Wipe my hand. Last, but not least, is some seasoning.
Black pepper!
Now, many people will add salt to this. We're not, on purpose, because that's not how we do things. And there's a reason for it. We want to be low sodium. Now, how much black pepper? That's kind of up to you. You can put in as much as you like. Derica happens to really like black pepper, so I'm putting a lot in there. And now we mix. And we're just incorporating. Look at the colors. The smell is incredible right now too. Just everything coming together. Really, really nice. Now, if you chop this even finer, you can get it even, obviously a finer texture. This is actually a little bit on the thicker side. It's great for tacos or for putting over eggs or, lots of things like that. We like it. This will be gone in 2 days. That's about how much we use of this. If I had chopped the cilantro a little bit finer, it might have been a little bit easier too. But you get the idea. Now, as far as exact amounts of ingredients, you can play a little fast and loose with this. This is your salsa, after all. And there you have it. Salsa. Pico de Gallo, whatever you want to call it. This is a fresh salsa, okay? Storage options. Put it in a bowl. Put it in the fridge. It'll keep for a week at best if you can let it sit around that long. We tend to put it in mason jars, bowls, whatever we got. No big deal. Don't freeze it. It'll turn to mush. Don't ask me why I know that. But you can eat it right away. It'll come to a better flavor in just a few hours in the fridge, though, because all those flavors will meld together and it'll be awesome. If you watched our taco video just a couple of days ago, this is the exact Pico de Gallo that we used in there. That's right. We did a time warp and went backwards and gave ourselves this exact Pico de Gallo. Actually, the TVP is hydrating over there. And when we're done with this part, we're going to film the rest of the taco video. If that confused you, me too. Don't worry.
But if you like this video,
look up. There's going to be another one up there that you might like that one too.